In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools, customized support, and an education built to empower you, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Who remembers the BJ and Bill Show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill Podcast.
It's the BJ and Bill Podcast, episode 34. As you know, I like to call it episode 8, season 2.
Wow, 34 already. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
Is that that's not a half a year yet, because 52.
No.
Well, that is more. Is that a half a year?
Well, 52 is a year, so half of that is 26. So yeah, we're well past half a. Really? That doesn't seem right, but I guess it is. Wow.
I know it doesn't seem right.
I did not a long time ago, when podcasts were still a thing. I mean, it was probably 5-6 years ago. I tried doing my own podcast, and I did about 25 episodes maybe, but I interviewed people, not like you and I are doing it now with the wonders of Zoom, because that wasn't a thing that long ago, but I still would have them call in and record them and all that sort of thing. And it was a pain doing it myself and having a guest and having to do some editing and all that. And frankly, they were not radio people. So there was a lot of editing that needed to be done, which was, you and I, we don't edit nothing on this one. So that's fine. I love that.
Was it one of those fun interviews, many of them, that would always go, you'd ask them a question, you'd expect at least a 2 or 3 minute answer, and they'd go, yes.
Yeah. The worst interview ever. Yeah, I had a few of those. A lot of them were life coaches and stuff like that. So they had, they had either books to sell or something. So they had stuff to talk about. But yeah, some of them were just like, oh my gosh, really? You actually talk to people for a living and this is how you do it? So anyway, there you go.
Now, I will say this, because my son Gentry does Backstage with Gentry Thomas, where he interviews various celebrities.
Yes.
And he will like watch old episodes. Like he had Lisa, I forget her last name, from Facts of Life on. Blair.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But he watched a couple old episodes. He read some book or something about the facts of life. And he had like all these questions. And he goes into an interview so well prepared.
Right.
It usually blows the mind of those being interviewed, because most people, I told him, are interviewed by radio guys like BJ and Bill. And it was like, hey, tomorrow you need to interview, Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits.
Okay. Yeah.
And you go, oh, so you were in Herman's Hermits, Peter Noon. What was that like? It's like, we never really.
No.
And so, but he says that even a lot of his interviews go, man, you're like the best person that I've ever had interview me. You were like so prepared.
Awesome.
Awesome. They all got interviewed by us before somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Well, they were, it was like normally when I'm on morning radio shows with a couple of goobers on morning radio, they ask me the dumbest stuff, And so, yeah, I get it. If you wanted to do a little show prep for your podcast, that'd be a good thing. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. A lot. And the work you can hear, like you said, that the host has obviously done a lot of research and preparation and all that. And it shows. Some of those podcasts are super good, some not so much. Other, so we're somewhere, who knows where we're at on that spectrum.
So maybe if we interview somebody on our podcast, we better do some research.
Right. That would be, well, of course, if we had somebody on, it would probably be one of our friends from old radio days, and we would just talk to them like you and I talk, like just a couple of friends hanging out and chatting, because it's not like we're getting, Joe Biden or, Donald Trump on the show with us, although that would be a good get, wouldn't it? But yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. So how are you?
I'm pretty good. How was your Easter?
Good. I actually did a tiny bit of socializing. Don't faint. We have, I play pickleball every Thursday, and although I missed last Thursday because whatever, but I'm in a seniors, I think they call it senior singles or something like that. It's single folks, old folks like me here in Gainesville. And they do a lot of stuff. They have game nights and they go to dinner once a month at a local restaurant and they play pickleball. Well, the only thing I do with the group is play pickleball. I don't go to any of the other stuff. But one of the ladies who also organizes the pickleball had a little Easter dinner thing yesterday. So I actually went over to her place and there was about 10 other members of our group. Now we sat around and talked and had a little, the usual ham and potato salad, just like you always have on Easter. And it was awesome. It was fun. It was great. So I was a little social yesterday. I'm surprised and pleased with myself. How about you?
I would think those senior social groups that are singles,
Yes.
senior singles.
Yes.
Now, thank God I'm still alive, but I guess, as you get older, it seems like there is more single females than there are males, because for some reason us husky males,
We die first. Yeah.
pass away quicker. Yeah.
The bottom line is men die first.
And so
They
if
just
you're
do.
in a senior single mingle bunch, boy, you should have the pick of the litter.
So, you are right. I was one of, in a room full of maybe a dozen or 15 people, I was one of 3 men. So yes, the statistics are much, there's a lot more women than there are men at that age. But number 2 is, well, we're all old, and I don't know that there's a whole lot of, otherwise mingling going on there with that sort of thing. Now,
Well, when I hear about the villages, I want to try and say you're wrong, buddy.
that I've heard that too. I have heard that.
Get your loofah.
And what's that?
Get your loofah.
Is that a real thing? Is that
I don't know if it is or not, but I guess different colored loofahs mean different things. And you're like a swinger. I don't get the whole swinger thing. The only swinging I've ever done is on a porch swing.
or a golf club?
Yeah. Well, I never
I've done
even
both.
swung that.
Yeah, I've done both. So anyway, yes. So are my odds very favorable? Yes. Am I interested in that? Not with this group. No, not with this group.
I hope they're not listening to the podcast.
I hope not either. And I'm pretty damn sure they're not. Pretty darn sure they're not.
That son of a bitch. What I was wearing my best outfit and he didn't think I was attractive and he's not turned on. Oh my God, you son of a bitch. I'm going to kill him.
Thank God for radio names. That's all I got to say, because they don't know me. They don't know me as Bill Stevens. So
But
thank
you
God
don't
for radio
promote the BJ and Bill podcast at your singles groups?
I've probably talked about it once or twice that I do a podcast, but again, these are old people. I mean, yes, BJ and Bill are old. Let's face it. That's part of the charm of the show. But 65, 70-year-old people generally, well, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, people. Write back, write us, post on the Facebook page and tell me I'm wrong. Do old people 65, 70 years old plus, do they listen to podcasts? I don't know. And if you didn't know about the BJ and Bill podcast, you probably wouldn't be looking for it, right? So anyway, I think, and I hope that I'm safe. That's all I'm
can't wait till your next meeting.
Oh yeah, great. You said what?
I want to see if you get schooled or not.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like a little admirer on the side and you don't know, they may be trying to find out as much about Bill as they can. And so, did you know that Bill has a podcast? I guess it's the BJ and Bill podcast. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to try and listen to that.
Yeah, and then they're going to find this show and my life is over. It's toast. Okay, fine. So I get
what they thought of the last show when we talked all about gas.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, we are just covering all the old folk topics here, aren't we?
Now, I guess this would be a younger folk, like when you say, how many old folks listen to podcasts, which I think it would surprise you, the number.
I probably
Now, I want to ask you a question because I know you're somewhat of a computer person and you're somewhat of a techie.
Yes, I am.
And now gas prices are getting more expensive. Do you use any of the gasoline apps or gas apps or whatever you want to call them to save money on your gasoline petrol purchases?
I do not at the moment, but I am giving it serious consideration. Now, I suppose you could say I do because I belong to Sam's Club. And if you go to the Sam's Club gas station, you can allegedly use your Sam's Club plastic, credit card membership card to put into the pump. And then it says, oh, yes, you're a member. But my Sam's Club, I've asked for months. They don't have any membership cards. I'm sorry, we don't have those anymore. Or we ran out months ago and we never got any more. So long story short, you have to use the Sam's Club app on your phone to buy gas at the Sam's Club gas station. So yeah, it has a credit card attached to it, and you scan the little pump and it talks to your phone and it's like, okay, here you are. And when you're done, it pays for it. So I suppose the answer is yes. I thought I was no. Now, what I did want to add was there's a 7-Eleven right on the corner. I mean, like walking distance to my apartment here. And I've noticed that they have this 7-Eleven, this Easy Pay thing, and it's 10 cents a gallon cheaper if you use the Easy Pay thing, which means basically the same thing. You connect the app to your credit card and it automatically charges your card and you don't have to put, no cash, no card, no nothing. So I'm giving that serious thought. I really am. How about you?
Do you use any of that stuff? I'm a tight one.
Right.
I do anything and everything to save a buck. I have on my phone, which I use the most because I save the most with that, but I do pay a small fee to use this one, Racetrack. I pay like $2.95 a month, but I get 17 cents off a gallon because I am a VIP with Racetrack. I also I haven't really used this at a station yet. I tried to once and you had to have all this, your credit card and everything in it. And it was I'm just going to get the gas. But now I'll be prepared next time. Wawa, as you just said, 7-Eleven has a really good.
Right.
And then, of course, Shell that has the fuel rewards card. And that can give you more cents off your gasoline if you grocery shop at Winn-Dixie. If you eat at certain restaurants, it gives you more cents off. So I use the Shell fuel rewards card every now and again. And then once in a while, before I really got the Racetrack thing going with the 17 cents off a gallon, I used Upside. Now that is a good app. I should send you an invite, Bill Stevens, for Upside because they will automatically give me, money for
give you for the
referral, but you can get gasoline at cheaper prices. You can go into you can go into restaurants and get cheaper prices.
Cool.
It's a really good app. And once again, that one is called
Upside, you said?
Yeah, Upside.
Our old friend Vicky introduced me.
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools, customized support, and an education built to empower you, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere. This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
To another app called Fetch. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
Where
one.
basically you basically take a picture, a scan with your phone of any time you buy anything, you scan the receipt, the paper receipt, and you get points for it. And I'll be honest with you, I used it a little while, but then I never saw any reward or any, I never followed up with it to see what kind of reward, if any, I ever got. So I'll definitely look at the upside thing. I don't have
now with the upside, I will tell you this.
Yes.
What it does, it like adds money to your upside account.
Right.
And then what you do after, you got to get at least $20 in there.
Right.
Which I did at least one time. And then I went to the racetrack, so I don't use it as much. And also I use the shell. Usually the racetrack and the shell are the two I use the most. Yeah,
I don't have a racetrack near me, so I wouldn't do that.
But with this upside, you get so much. And once you get $20, you can either have it, dropped into your checking account.
Oh, you're talking money back. I thought you were talking you had to put $20 into it. Oh, cool.
Or you can get gift cards.
Oh, okay.
Like a gift card to Starbucks or
yeah.
Maybe a gas card.
That's cool.
I think the time I did it, I got a Starbucks $20 gift card.
Yeah.
So,
I have the Walmart credit card. It's not Walmart. It's they issued it through Chase or whoever they issue it through. And I get points for gift cards through that. And I now thank you for the reminder. I need to go check on that because I think I have a bunch that I need to, because I use that credit card for everything. So anyway,
now the credit card we use here,
yes,
because it gives you money back, but it only gives you money back at a certain place.
Oh,
it's through Chase,
right?
What is the Disney Chase card?
Oh, the Disney Chase card. But
I never see any of that money. I'll tell you that right up front. I never see any of that money.
No.
And we use that card almost exclusively.
Okay. And does it give you discounts at the Mouse House or what?
It doesn't really give you discounts, but what it does, you take your points and you roll it over to your Disney card.
Okay.
Which is like a fun, I don't know, it's just like a card, like a credit card.
Right.
But it only has credit on it. Now you have the credit card itself, and then you got, I guess they call it the Disney Fun Card.
Okay.
And the Fun Card, you transfer your points, and then they're worth money at like any Disney location, any Disney,
Oh, okay.
So, you use them there.
Sure. And I understand.
Like I said,
for somebody like you,
any of that money.
Yeah, no. But for somebody like you who goes to Disney properties a lot, I'll bet I have another friend. I had an old friend down in Fort Myers he and his wife, our age, so older. Again, like you, Disney season pass holders forever. They just loved it. They went all the. I get that. That's cool. He probably had the same card. So yeah. So does it help? I mean, so you use the Disney card everywhere.
Right.
Buy groceries, buy dinner, whatever. And then you get credit for it when you go to Disney. You can get money off or whatever on that card. That's cool. I like that.
Now, again, with the racetrack, going back to gas cards, the racetrack now, I told you I pay that $2.95 a month.
Yeah, that's a little weird that you have to pay.
But I get 17 cents off a gallon.
17 cents.
And also, it's really kind of cool. And now I forgot my train of thought. It's always so much fun at our age,
right?
When you're ready to. But I have a race card like you said. You can get with
right
DJs.
Right
now, when you use the card, the money automatically comes out of your bank account. It's like what do you call those? Because I never use
like a debit
like
card.
A bank card,
like a debit card. Yeah,
like a debit card.
Yeah. I have that. That's how when I go to Sam's Club. By the way, I just did the math on that. So you have to buy at least 15 gallons of gas. If it's what'd you say, $2.59 a month for your card? The racetrack?
$2.95, I think.
$2.90. All right. So
no, wait, it's $2.45.
$2.45 divided by 17 cents is 14 gallons. Okay, so you got to buy 15 gallons of gas every month to cover the $2.50 a month charge for the card.
Now I could have that card also and only get 7 cents off.
But if you pay the $2.59 or
so really you're only getting 10 cents extra off. I've been thinking about trying to drop that service because I certainly would buy that much gas in a month, but it sounds like you're breaking even. Unless there's other discounts or other perks on it. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Before it was worth it.
Right.
When I was working still at the radio station, traveling, 40 minutes to work there and back, I'm there 40 minutes back. I was using a lot of gasoline. So then it was well worth it. But now that we've moved, plus we used to come up and see our daughter, which was like an hour away. So we probably would go through 2-3 tanks of gas a week.
Ooh. Now
I'm lucky if we go through a tank of gas in a month, unless we go to Fort Myers.
Right.
So, or, Tampa, I go to Tampa General, wife goes to Moffett for checkups.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm thinking now, like I said, I'm thinking about dropping that service and just because I can save just as much, like you said, at 7-Eleven with the 10 cents a gallon.
Let us know. I'm just curious if other people are using similar reward cards and stuff like that. I mean, that used to be a big deal, and then the world closed for a couple of years, and now it's kind of coming back. So I guess I'm curious to hear from our friends and listeners if they're also using similar reward cards and stuff like that, and if it's still a big deal. I know when I was back in my relationship days a few years ago, when I was living with a lady in Sarasota, I used to call her the credit card points queen because she had, I'm going to guess she had at least a dozen credit cards at various, like American Express and the different hotel chains and the airlines and all that. And when she traveled, I mean, she would almost always either fly or stay in a nice hotel for nothing, or if not nothing, a lot cheaper than you would pay for the regular rate. So I get it, but I'm a simple-minded kind of guy. For me, managing or at least kind of keeping all that information in my head or on a spreadsheet or whatever, because she had spreadsheets, she had the whole thing. That just sounds like a lot of work to me.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
I have two. I have two credit cards, plus I have a debit card, but I never use my debit card. My debit card it's basically my bank card.
Right.
If I have to go make a deposit or a withdrawal or something and go directly to the bank, which who does that anymore? With direct deposit, you can make, check deposits through your phone nowadays. But so I never use my debit card with my bank, but I have two cards. I have a Discover card, which you get money back.
Right.
And that's kind of cool. And really that's just set up now with my Amazon account.
Right.
So I do that with the Amazon account. Let me turn this off. Somebody from Naples, Florida trying to call me, probably trying to sell me some car insurance or something.
Probably.
But I mean, I use my Discover and I use my Chase Visa Disney card. That's the only two cards I have.
I've been guilty of this, and I don't know if I saw like a Dave Ramsey video or one of the other money gurus talking about that. And I will admit I am guilty. And he said, stop using your bank debit card to pay for stuff. Because if somebody gets their hands on that number or hacks that bank account, that card, they can drain your bank account. If somebody gets your credit card number, that's on the bank. That's their problem, not your problem. So, and I've been using, I shouldn't say this on the radio, should I? Because now everybody's going to try and hack Bill's account or something. So Good luck, hackers. But I'm going to stop using my debit card for stuff and start using a credit card instead, because, you know, when I buy gas and when I go to Sam's Club and all that, I've been using the debit card, and it's like, that's not it. Besides, you might as well get the points for it, and the debit card gives you 0 points. So anyway, long story short,
there are some banks that have like a debit Visa card, and they give you points.
Really?
For your debit card.
Well, I mean, all debit cards here. Wait a minute. I got my Suncoast Credit Union card in front of me.
You told them what bank you go to. They're going to hack you so bad.
Good luck, kids, because this bank account is empty because I just moved everything out of here. So good luck with. No, really, this one's empty. So, but that reminds me, I need to call them and close this account. But they're all Visa cards anyway. I mean, they have the little Visa logo on them anyway. So, you know, even though it's a debit card, it still is either a Visa or a MasterCard effectively. I'm not smart enough to know how that works.
Some of them do give you cash back in
points. That's interesting. Wow. Okay.
But I'm kind of like you. I do not use, my debit card because, and that's for the very same reason. I don't want to get it hacked.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't know if you can do that or not. Maybe you could, but I have everything at one particular location.
You mean bank?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I have my stocks and my mutual funds. It's all under one roof.
Oh.
And if you go online to check, your banking account, I see all my
everything
stuff.
So all right, everybody, let's go hack BJ Odom and see if we can. No, I get it. So yes, I understand.
So I don't even take that out of the house. I guess if my house ever gets robbed, someone can take it. But that card doesn't even leave the house unless, and that's very seldom, I'm going to the bank for a particular purpose where I'm going to ask them for, because usually around Christmas time, I go to the bank.
Right.
And I ask for cash because I give it to the grandkids. I give it to the kids.
Right.
Because I always say green is their favorite color.
That is correct.
And it's never the wrong size. Maybe
that is so correct.
Maybe it's 2 less, but it's never the wrong size.
It's always fits, always in season. Never, it's like, oh, we're sorry, lobsters are out of season. Nope, cash is always in season. Yes, I get it. I do. Because I do the same thing for my niece and nephew. It's like, and that's probably, well, yeah, I don't send cash in the mail, but yeah, well, a little Venmo action, a little something like that. Absolutely. So yeah, I get it. Have you been watching it all? And this is kind of where real life, pokes its head into the show, that it's like, I've been and I don't know if I'm just finding a lot of these guys on YouTube videos or something, these financial gurus. I mentioned Dave Ramsey, but the Dave Ramseys, the Robert Kiyosaki's, all of these guys.
I had one of those when I was a kid.
Yeah. What's
Kiyosaki.
That? Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I think it was a 175.
He's still around. He is still, and they are all talking about getting ready for another big recession coming to this country, before the end of the year, which is scary as hell. But anyway, I don't know if we don't do politics on this program, but I can't believe you
didn't get the joke there, Bill Stevens. You just kept moving on.
I missed it. I'm sorry. Try me again. I said Kiyosaki and you said?
I had a Kiyosaki when I was a kid. It was a 175.
Kawasaki. Oh man. Wow. Right. Zoom right over my head.
You are slow, Bill Stevens.
I am so sorry about that, BJ Odom. Oh my gosh. All right. Do you want me to go back?
I thought that was a good one too.
It was. Do you want me to go back and edit the podcast to put it together? No, I'm not going to edit the podcast to put the joke together. All right, folks. Now, make sure you laugh, everybody, because BJ told us a good joke.
Now, speaking of Dave Ramsey.
Yes.
And speaking of credit cards.
Yes.
And I think Dave Ramsey is correct on this particular topic.
Which is?
Do not use your credit card as cash for everything you do. And I'm sorry, Dave Ramsey, but I do. And so does my wife.
Right.
But the reason is, if you're taking cash, but I would lose the damn cash if I had it in my pocket anyway. I always tend to lose when I have cash. I can carry my billfold for 20 years. I put cash in it for a week, I lose my billfold. I don't know why. I don't know how that happens.
It's karma. Anyway.
But, and I believe in his philosophy. If you're using cash and you're taking it out of the bank and you have like, $100 or $250.
Right.
When that $250 is gone, that $250 is gone. But when you're using your credit card,
yep,
you might go to the grocery store. You might go to, BJ's. And, you go in there and I want, this, I want that, I need this. But you walk in with the things you need, the 3 things you need, plus you walk out with 4 or 5 other things that you kind of think you need.
Right. Or that, wouldn't it be nice?
Think about spending the money.
Right. Exactly.
Well, if the things you needed cost $250 and you had $250, that's all you would spend. But when you have that credit card, you buy more things than you really need or you went in to get.
Yep.
And so you spend money a lot faster. Let's just say that.
And yes, it is. I mean, in that regard, Dave Ramsey is entirely correct. Just like, and I haven't been there in 15 years, but just like our friends at any Las Vegas casino will tell you, that's why they have chips, because it's not money anymore. It's just these little round plastic discs that they give you. You trade in your $100 or $200 or $1,000 and they give you these little chips and you play with them. And when they're gone, they're gone. It's no big deal, but they still have your money, your real money. And that's exactly, I mean, that's the same mentality. And it's a good, it's a great mentality. It really is. That if you have, like you said, if I walk into Publix or Sam's or Costco with $100 and that's all I'm going to spend is that $100 bill. All right, that's fine. It's becoming more and more, I'm not going to say difficult, but challenging to do that, because if I got to stand in line, now I got to wait for a cashier and I got to, because Sam's Club, literally, I walk in with my Sam's Club app on my phone. I scan every item as I put it in my basket, in my cart, and I walk right past the checkout because I swipe, I pay, there it is. I get the little, QR code on my phone. The young lady at the door scans the QR code, says, yep, you've paid, have a great day, and I'm out of there. So to use cash at a place like that, I'm not going to say it's hard to do, but there's a bigger effort. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe like you said, maybe the effort of actually pulling the cash out of your pocket and giving it to somebody and say, this is what I got today. I got $100. So anyway.
Now, as we're speaking of credit cards and saving money.
Yes.
And Mr. Tightwad here that likes to save a buck whenever he can. I don't like to use like the services that, as we say, delivers food and also delivers groceries.
Right.
Now, my son says he thinks he saves money, even though he pays a service charge for having his groceries delivered, which this also makes sense to me, because you order what you want.
Oh,
it gets delivered. But it seems like whenever I go, just like we said with the credit card.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can use this. Oh, wait a minute. That looks really good.
That big bag of potato chips looks awesome. Yes. Yeah.
Like you never get those things that just look good when you're in the store if you're using the app or the Instacart or whatever they call it, the Instacart. Right. You don't do that.
I'd never thought of that. And it's a really good kind of like a brain hack to say, yeah, if I order it online and have it delivered, I'm only getting what I order. And there's none of that walking past the checkout counter with the candy bars. That's why they put the candy bars and the potato chips there, so the little kids can grab them and, mom has to buy them. So yeah, there's none of that going to happen. So I get it. That's a great way of thinking about it. I'm not sure good for him. It'd be interesting to see how that works. I don't know.
We always talk about, what our show should be listed at.
Yes.
Now it could be in a monetary, we deal in finances on this
personal
show.
finance. We could do personal finance show. Yeah. All right. So it's about, I think the personal finance segment of today's program is over because we're about halfway through the show. Look at that. A half an hour already gone quickly. That's awesome. Awesome. Let's take a quick break. What's that?
A very interesting subject coming up after we do take this little break.
Oh, and that, my friends, is what we call a tease. And we will be right back. And welcome back. I'm Bill Stevens. That's
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools, customized support, and an education built to empower you, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
BJ Odom. This is the BJ and Bill podcast, which you can get in touch with, should you choose, at either BJ and Bill podcast. Remember to spell out the A-N-D, BJ and Bill podcast at gmail.com. That's the official email address for the show. And if you'd rather just reach out and get in touch on Facebook, we'd love to hear from you there too. At the Facebook page is exactly the same thing, BJ and Bill podcast. Just do a search on Facebook and you will find the show. Lots of people contributing there and adding their comments, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
I read, which is hard to believe.
Hard to believe that he read. Yeah.
I read an article.
Wow.
But how fascinating dolphins are.
Oh, they're super cool.
I mean, they're cool to watch. They're cool to see in the water, but they do so many. They should be able to take over the world because I think they're smarter than we are.
Well, let's put it this way. They own 70% of the planet. We own 30 because 70% of the planet's covered with water. So who's really in charge?
I guess
Although we
you're
are,
right.
unfortunately, we are effing it up for everybody else animal wise. But yeah, I get it. So tell me more.
Well, dolphins, and I can't believe this, and I don't know how the research figured this out, but dolphins call each other by their names.
So you're saying they have individual names?
Yeah, like I call you Bill because you're
Sure.
Bill.
I kind of am.
And I guess so in the dolphin world, they would call you Bill also. They would
Or
call
whatever
you
that-
by name.
Whatever that sounds like. Yes, in dolphin. Yeah. So tell us more. I'm curious about this. How did they figure that out? Like you said.
Well, you know how I read. I basically got the 5 PowerPoints. I didn't read a whole lot.
Give us the PowerPoint summary.
But they communicate with each other.
Cool.
I didn't read that much of it, and they do call each other by name. I think that's truly amazing.
Kind of is. And how would you tell each other apart? Well, if you're a dolphin, obviously you can tell one from the other because, I mean, if I look at BJ, I know what he looks like, but dolphins kind of all look the same to me.
But do they really?
But no, I imagine they have different spots and they have different, fins. And I don't know.
I'm just laying this out here. Now,
I think that's awesome. I think that's, if we ever learn to communicate, they always say that it's those scientists, like when the aliens arrive, how the heck are we going to communicate with them? Because we can't even talk to dogs and we're with them every day.
We can't
It's
even
like
talk
we've known
to
them for
ourselves.
thousands of years. And dolphins, we've known them for thousands of years. We can't talk to them. You think you're going to talk to an alien from a different planet? Good luck.
But they have done a lot of research on this, I do believe.
I believe you're right.
Dolphins can also, which I know we don't because we dream, maybe they don't dream either, dolphins turn off their brains to sleep.
I've heard something like that they actually like turn off half their brain and half stays awake because they still have to swim and come up for air and all that sort of thing, even when they're sleeping.
Yes.
So yeah, they're kind of like half there, which is the last week. That's what I feel like, because I've been tossing and turning in bed so much. I wonder if my brain is awake or not, but that's a whole nother story for another day. So yeah, they do a lot of amazing things. That's for sure.
Now, I know back in our radio days, I would think of things to do or topics, or whatever.
Right.
And I would sometimes obsess about these things. I know it'd be hard to sleep.
Right.
Same when we were getting ready to move. I was thinking about, the finances, the moving process, everything else.
Right.
I was getting very little sleep.
Right.
Like a month before we moved.
Right.
So I understand.
Did you ever think, I mean, my ex-wife, shout out to Miss Paula. She used to do the same thing. She would, like, if she was thinking about a work project or something, and she would wake up in the middle of the night with an idea or something, she kept a paper and pencil next on her nightstand so that when she had a, insight in the middle of the night, she would wake up, write it down, and that way she could go back to sleep. And I've heard a lot of people talk about that if you have an idea, and I'm a good case study for that. If I have an idea, my brain's going to start working on it. Even if it's the middle of the night, my brain's going to go, oh, you could do this. Oh, you could do that. Oh, we could do this. And then it's like, okay, we're not sleeping. Now we're not there. Forget about sleeping because we're working on this problem.
And then you're like me, you fall asleep. And then, because it is that big a project that you've thought of in your mind while you were trying to sleep, you remember it in the morning. You wake up in the morning and you're going, oh man, I had a great idea last night. What was it?
Exactly. And it's long gone. And it's like, good luck bringing that back. So again, pen and pad next to the bed, or pen and pad. That was in the old days. I'm holding up my iPhone next to the bed, hey Siri, take a note. And she's going to, now she's going to say, okay, I've created your note. No. She what? She's got what? No, look at that. It tried to write something down as we were talking. So anyway, use your phone, use your, your Miss Alexa, use her to take a note or something. And then when you wake up, there it is. Perfect. Oh, Alexa, stop. Everything's talking back to me in this house, BJ. Everything is talking.
It's like having two wives. You have a wife Alexa and a wife.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And a Siri too. It's just crazy. Oh my gosh. So yeah.
All right, listen to this.
All right, what?
And I did read this a little bit more because I'm going, what does this mean?
Yes.
Dolphins teach each other to use tools.
Tools? What kind of tools can a dolphin use?
Shells.
For what?
Scraping up things.
Digging out stuff, digging critters out of the sand on the bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who would have thunk?
Hello, not me. Wow.
But they can teach each other how to use their, the tools.
Well, I know monkeys do that. I know apes will like break off a stick and stick it down an anthill to scoop out lots of tasty ants. Ugh. So, it's like, there you go. So anyway, it's all
here's
good.
One too that I think dolphins should be really fat. Dolphins have 3 stomachs.
Well, dolphins don't eat junk food, though. They're not like people. See, this relates. Here's the callback. Here's the callback to our previous discussion. Dolphins aren't walking through Publix going, oh, I'll buy that giant-sized bag of potato chips. No, they're not doing that.
They're going, here's a fish. This is my fish for the day.
Dolphins are eating fish or shells or whatever. I don't know, but they're not eating junk food. So they're in great shape. And they swim all the time, too.
I didn't know that. That's something I did not know reading this article.
I didn't either. That's fascinating. Cool.
And dolphins, now this is why we should really study dolphins.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't doubt the world is, but dolphins have remarkable powers of like okay, let's just say their superpower, major tissue, it gets injured.
Right.
They can grow it back.
Really? They grow stuff back?
Yeah.
Wow. They're like lizards on the front porch. When they lose their tail, they grow another one.
Yeah, they grow another one.
That's awesome.
And here's the big one.
Okay.
This is why I say they could take over the world. The U.S. military uses highly trained dolphins.
I believe it.
I wonder if you have any dolphin spies.
Probably do. I mean, you could, and I've seen that video. I mean, it's like fun video. It's not like, spying video. So we're not looking, but you can put like a camera, you can, use a harness and put a camera on the back of a dolphin, have him go swim up to a bad guy, to an enemy ship to take video of it and all of that stuff, and then come back and we can look at the video. So yeah, sure. You could, I mean, why not? Why not?
So there's some amazing things about dolphins.
That's cool.
And I just, like I said, I don't read that often, but I came across that article and it actually kind of got my interest.
Mm-hmm.
It said 5 things, about dolphins that you'd be amazed. And I go, I like being amazed.
Yeah.
Let me read those 5 things that I would be amazed with.
And you were properly amazed.
Yes, I was.
There you go. I didn't know about the 3 stomachs and the growing back thing kind of a thing, but I had heard about using them for military kind of spying and stuff. I had heard that. I don't know how it works, but and nowadays with satellites and everything, probably not so much, but maybe they still do. Who knows? Yeah. So have you ever gone to any of those resorts or anything like Disney doesn't do it, but SeaWorld has their swim with dolphins thing there in Orlando. You ever done any of that swim with dolphin thing?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is. I've done that too. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah,
and again, how smart they are. It's
stupid crazy. I mean, they're obviously smarter than us because, well, they're not breaking anything or, killing the planet or killing each other. I don't know. Maybe they do kill each other. They have wars that we don't know about.
I've been told, and I didn't read that in this article, but I've been told that they can actually, they can fend themselves when it comes to a shark.
Oh yeah, they have no fear
against sharks.
They are way faster and way more maneuverable than sharks. They don't fear sharks at all. I don't think so. I've seen that kind of video too, that they're, they just get out of the way and then they turn around and they smash into them with their nose, their I guess you call it a nose, whatever, their jaw, their whatever, that's all bone, that's all solid. So if they hit something like a shark, they're going to knock them out. Yeah. So I think I saw that National Geographic special somewhere years ago. But yeah, they are incredible. They are amazing. They have that whole radar, that echolocation thing where they can see things, they can feel things, in pitch black. It doesn't matter.
Is it not like what, some kind of, like radio waves, and then the radio wave.
They do it with sound. They can make sounds out of the front of their nose, and which is exactly the way sonar and radar works, except that works with electronically, and this works with sound. So, but I don't know. That's more amazing dolphin knowledge coming to you soon here on the BJ and Bill Show. So there you go.
They haven't taken over the world yet.
They should. They really should. But and you science fiction fans out there, there was a humorous sci-fi novel. Douglas Adams, boy, that's a set in the Wayback Machine. Douglas Adams wrote all the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy novels. It was a whole series of them. And in one of them, all the dolphins decided to leave the earth because they decided it was getting too messy and too crowded and too messed up. So they left, and they just left a note and said, so long and thanks for all the fish, but we're leaving. So anyway, there's a little dolphin knowledge for you this morning. That's awesome.
So I see you drinking coffee there.
I am always drinking coffee. Not always. In the mornings, I have 2 monstrous cups of coffee. Yes.
You ever drink water?
Do I ever? Not enough.
So you drink water.
What's that?
So you drink water.
Some, but not enough.
Do you drink faucet water?
If you were here, if I'm pointing over my shoulder, I know you can't see it on the podcast because it's at home, you're just listening, but I'm showing BJ that on my kitchen counter behind us is a water filter which I run my faucet water through, and it removes fluoride and all the other crazy junk that's in it. So when I do drink water, it's pretty good for me. Look at that. Take that, BJ Odom.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you like cold water?
Yes.
So do you put ice in it?
Occasionally. Yeah, I know. Bad ice cubes. I know. I know. My ice cube filter, my fridge has an ice cube maker, and it has a filter, but it's not a very good one. It's just a little, $25 one that you change every 6 months or whatever. So yes, I have heard that ice cubes can be just as bad as the regular water.
I saw this the other day, and I just thought this was so funny. It says, y'all drink faucet water? Y'all don't drink faucet water, but yeah, you'll put faucet water ice cubes in here.
I know. And it's funny you bring that up, because last night, remember I said earlier that I went to dinner at the meetup group, and somebody was talking about their latest trip to Mexico or to somewhere in South America, one of those don't drink the water countries. And everybody was talking about how, yes, they drank bottled water. And then some of them went swimming in the hotel pool. Guess what? Same water. And they all got sick from swimming in the pool. So anyway.
That's a problem. That's a problem they're having in Florida now. People, the red tide.
Oh,
people swimming in the red tide.
Oh man. How could you even get in that water? It smells so bad.
But with all the hurricanes and everything, all the water, all the dead things and all the junk that just went into the ocean, because of the hurricanes, bringing all the water in and taking all the water out. They say a lot of people are getting sick from that too.
I believe it. I mean, and I haven't, I've been here in beautiful, you and I both live inland in Florida. So we haven't had to experience that red tide thing for a while. And I haven't been to a beach in Florida in a couple of years. So I wouldn't know. But I mean, yeah, I have heard that it's still happening, and it's still a thing. And it's still like, who the heck knows what's going on with all that? So I don't know. We got to be more careful with this planet. That's what we got to do.
Yes, sir. Now we both, as we said, and that's where the BJ and Bill show originated from, was Fort Myers, Florida, which was right along the Gulf of Mexico.
Yep.
Now, when you first moved to Florida, you were like me, probably in your late 20s, early 30s, right?
Yep.
So were you a beach person when you first moved to Southwest Florida?
Of course. Yeah. And I'm going to assume that where I know where this conversation is going, because when you move to Southwest or anywhere near the beach, you go to the beach a lot. And then I'm going to assume you did the same, and I'll ask you the follow-up question. How long did that take to wear off?
I'm going to guess about 3 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Really? 3 years. You were still an active beach goer a year or two into moving to Southwest Florida.
Right.
Well, that's good. I think it probably wore off a little sooner for me, maybe a year and a half. But isn't it all? And this was the joke when you moved to Southwest Florida. And it's true. It's kind of like one of those cliche things that's actually true, that it's like you have friends you didn't know you had up north.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, you live in Florida now by the beach? Can we come visit? Well, let me check my calendar, because I got to see where I can fit you in with all my other unknown friends who all of a sudden want to come and visit me at the beach. So, yeah, there was that.
Oh, yeah. I went through that, too, when I first moved to Florida. There were people from my high school, and friends along the way that I didn't even really know. I might have known their oh man, hey, I'm coming to Florida. Think I can stay with you for a couple of days?
Right.
And another thing too with us Floridians, we love the beach the first year or two. Then we kind of grow away from it. And then people come down and go, let's go to the beach. You go, I don't want to go to the beach. Why would I want to go to the beach?
I'm wondering, and I would bet, and betting is important to the story, I would bet that it's the same for people who live around Las Vegas. Like if what if you were like, the Pizza Hut manager in, some suburb of Las Vegas, but all of a sudden all your friends back in Cleveland or Chicago are like, you live in Vegas? Can we come visit? And then they're going to want to go down into the strip and the casinos and all. And it's like, for the regular people of Vegas, how often do you actually go into a casino? probably less than those of us in Southwest Florida went to the beach. But same thing, same mental kind of a little gymnastics there, I'm guessing.
So, yeah.
Whatever. I mean, that's cool. I get it. So I do remember, boy, this is 2 shout outs to my ex in the same podcast. I hope she's listening. That we were in Florida for 4 years. We lived right after we got married. We moved to Fort Myers. And, so we lived there for 4 years. That was way before BJ and Bill. And then we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. Both of us had media jobs, and I worked on the radio in Phoenix, and she had a job with a local TV station in Phoenix. And we were in Phoenix for 7 years. And then through an interesting turn of events, we came right back to the same town, to Fort Myers, where we had lived before. And it's a long story, but she had a transfer. And so we ended up right back, literally the same place, like 5 miles away from where we used to live the first time. And she always said we loved the beach, we loved the ocean, we loved the beach. We still liked it. It's not like we went all the time, but she would always take a trash bag, one of the, a Publix bag or something, when we would go to the beach the second time. And she always said, if I told myself, if I ever got back to Florida, I was going to leave the beach better than I found it. And she would pick up trash as we walked the beach, just a little, just enough to fill the Publix bag or whatever, and then put it in a trash can as we left the beach. And I thought, wow, I love that thinking. I love that mental kind of like being grateful for what you have and where you're at and being thankful and all of that. So anyway, if you ever get back to the beach, leave it better than you find it. That's today's little thing to leave you with. Your bumper sticker for the day.
And I'm trying to think of when I first moved to Florida, it's more about which bar was the best party bar.
Which bar was the best party bar?
Because when I first moved when you first moved to Florida, you were married.
Yes.
When I first moved to Florida,
you were not.
I was straight out of a divorce.
Oh.
Had a 4-year-old son.
Yes.
And so my mentality was a little bit different.
Very different, I'd bet.
Yeah. Now you came to Fort Myers first. My first radio station and my first move was in Naples.
Really?
Yeah. Now it's really weird because when I say, if anybody is in Fort Myers now, that know their radio stations, and I say WSGL,
right?
You're automatically going to think, okay, they're at 104.7. No. WSGL was at 97.7 and went by FM 98, and it was a country station that would broadcast from a trailer out in the middle of nowhere. And it was an old trailer, so every once in a while you'd see like little creatures pop their little head through right there in the studio. You'd be looking down and go, "Whoa, what is that? That's a raccoon trying to come in here." That's how glorious the first radio station I went to in Florida was.
Of course. When was that? 1980, 1979, 1980? When would you say that was?
Somewhere in there, yes.
Yeah. Because I got to Fort Myers in 82. And you could honestly say that with the exception of downtown, Naples was pretty much the middle of nowhere. I mean,
yes,
except for Fifth Avenue downtown. Of course, now it's totally, all of it's totally different. But yeah, it was. And my first station was at what would later become K-Rock, was 96. At the time it was 96 Super Q.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Bill Stevens.
Yeah.
My parents had a place down in Estero.
Oh.
On the Estero River.
Oh.
That they used, kind of like come down for, they were snowbirds.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I would come down and I would listen to Super Q.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go, oh my God, I would love to work at that radio station. That is the greatest sounding radio station of all times.
We were good.
And I also, would come down and go, oh, I want to live here so bad. I want to live here so bad.
Right.
My wife at the time would say, it's a nice place to visit, but no, I'm not from here. My family's not from here.
Right.
We're not coming here. So the day I got divorced, I actually moved to Southwest Florida.
There you go.
Basically, I got it. It was weird because I would send tapes down here all the time. I'd always send them to 97 Super Q, and it was
right.
Like I said, I was also in a country radio,
right?
And there was 2 country radio stations, the one down in Naples and the one in Fort Myers. I'd send them tapes. And it was really funny. This guy called and said, one time he gave me an offer, and I was like, I'm not really interested. My wife doesn't want to move. I love to move, but just not now.
Right.
And he actually said, he goes, well, if you ever change your mind and you want to move to Florida, you want to move to the area, call me and let me know.
Nice.
That should have been my first sign that the radio station was a little different. But then I ended up getting the divorce.
Right.
And I had a final hearing for the divorce. And I asked my lawyer, because I was getting custody of I shouldn't really get into this. This is like kind of personal stuff, but I asked the question, I would really love to move to Florida.
Right.
I said, like, I'd like to at least go down there for, a little while just to kind of get my head straight, because I was not wanting the divorce at the time.
Right.
And he said, well, if you had a job down there, he said, you could go down there and the wife really couldn't do anything about it as long as you made your son available every other weekend, because that's what she was going to get him every other weekend.
Wow.
She said you'd have to make him available to her.
Make available.
Right.
That sounds like a fancy legal term there.
And I know this is probably a mean thing to do. And I've even discussed this with my son, saying, I really wish I wouldn't have done this because it wasn't fair to you. And he goes, no, I got a pretty good life here. And he goes, I got no qualms with it.
Yeah.
But our final hearing was like I think it was about 2:00 in the afternoon. By 4:00 that day, I had my car packed. I'd called the guy that said, hey, if you, ever want to move to Florida,
right,
let him know.
Right.
I let him know about a week or 3 weeks before my final hearing.
Oh, okay. So you at least had set it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the deal all put together.
All right.
Got in my car, which was a little Trans Am at the time, Firebird Trans Am.
Woo.
Had my son over there, and clothes were wrapped all around him. I mean, he had like a little space.
Right.
His toy box was in the back. Basically, everything we brought in a Trans Am. Just remember that. And we moved to Florida. And of course, we went to my parents' place and stayed. So I had furniture and things like that when we first
came. Okay, cool.
That's how we came.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, like about, I think a week later, when it was time for the ex-wife to come pick up the child.
Right.
She couldn't find me at the apartment, and it was empty. She went straight to my parents' house and says, where is he? And I go, he's down at our place in Florida. He just wants to get down there 2 or 3 weeks to kind of.
Oh, wow.
Kind of find his head and kind of,
Yeah.
And I really, in all honesty, I planned on coming down here for now I'm in, Central Florida. I plan on coming down for, maybe 2, 3, 4 months at the most.
Right.
Then my plans were actually to go back.
Oh, really?
I never went back.
Yeah, no. So did you have to send your son back up every 2 weeks, or did she?
I had to make him available.
Make available. See, that's where I'm like a little fuzzy there. Does that mean you had to pay to transport him? No, you just had to say
I had to
he's
make him
available.
available.
Interesting. And did she, that might be that. Well, now we might be getting into the personal part. I was going to ask if that
here's what we actually did.
She came down and saw him.
She came down and saw him a few times.
Right.
And then we kind of made an arrangement. When he was off school,
right,
in the summertime,
right,
he went and spent summers with her.
Oh, okay.
And then he spent the school year with me.
Okay.
1 year, I don't know what year he was in school for sure, but I guess he said, I want to go live with my mom.
Okay.
And I said, okay, school year, you can go live with her for the school year. Then you can come down here for the summer.
Oh, okay.
So he went up there for 1 school year, and he goes, okay, I've had enough of that. He goes, I want to come back to Florida.
So where was the egg? She was in Indiana at the time. Where at?
Yeah, Rensselaer, Indiana.
Oh, she was still there. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So you can take the farm boy off the farm, but you can't, or something like that. I don't know. Right? Wow. Yeah, I think I would take Florida. I've never been to Rensselaer, Indiana. I think I'm taking Florida over Rensselaer, Indiana. Sight unseen.
All I got to say is I tell people that I know in the community of Rensselaer, Indiana all the time, there are roads that you can take that you can leave.
There's no gate, right?
Yeah, there's no gate.
They're not keeping you.
Yeah.
That's funny. And I mean, if you look at the statistics lately, I mean, I don't know about Rensselaer, Indiana, but if you look at like New York, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, whatever, everybody's doing what you and I did 50 years ago, which is packing up and moving south, to Florida, to Texas, to whatever, Georgia.
No, with us being here 50 years and this neighborhood being a brand new neighborhood.
Where you're at now.
And we are kind of like out, away from the town, away from the city, away from Orlando. We're
right.
If we could fly, we're less than 6-7 miles to Disney World.
I've looked at the map. Yes, it's a straight shot.
But you can't fly. There's a lot of woods and everything else in between.
Yep.
And these people, because we have a Facebook page here in the neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
And they're always going, "Oh my gosh, there's an alligator in the lake behind my house. Oh, I saw an alligator. Oh, we got to get rid of the alligator." They're like, no, you moved to Florida. There are gators in Florida. What are you going to do? Get rid of all the alligators? Because you have a house?
Right. I don't think so, Grandma. Yeah.
And then, of course, we are surrounded by a lot of wooded area.
Yep.
And we also have, now I haven't seen any bears or heard of bears, but there could be bears here. I know there's a lot of bears like down in Golden Gate.
There could be.
We're talking again, Southwest Florida.
Yeah, there could be
bears, out in the Everglades.
Sure.
So, I mean, I wouldn't believe probably somewhere out in there are bears, but, bobcats have been seen in our neighborhood.
Sure.
Wolves have been seen in our neighborhoods, and all these people go nuts. Like,
right.
Like they're not supposed to be here. No, you're not supposed to be here.
That's right. All the critters are thinking, darn, get rid of all these humans. Good God. They're taking over.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just cruel in my old age, but I'm like thinking, people, this is Florida.
Yeah.
You moved to Florida. You should have read a little bit about Florida.
Yeah.
There are gators here in Florida. And if you have a lake behind your house,
you're going to have
chances are you're going to have a gator in your lake.
You will. There. I mean, it's standard equipment. If you have enough water, I mean, it can't be like a puddle or something. If you have a big enough body of water, there will be at least one gator because that's the way they are. They just take over, which is funny because here I am in the home of the Gators in Gainesville. And I can't tell you if I've seen one or two, but they're like out in the parks and stuff. There's where I live is a neighborhood with, apartments and stuff like that. So it's pretty well manicured, as far as that goes. So, and there's no water nearby, but yeah, I thought, I'd be seeing gators everywhere. No, I haven't really seen that many gators. I saw more of them in Sarasota and Venice. So, but
there's a lake, there's a man-made lake behind our place.
Yep.
The street across the street from us, those houses.
Right.
They're on a man-made lake.
Right.
And then as you go to the end of the street, which we're the second house from the end of the street, there is a big old conservation area.
Love that. Love
where
that.
It's nothing but swampland.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Keep it
and
green.
People wonder, where are the alligators coming from?
Yeah. Welcome to Florida, Grandma.
I want to say, if you're that afraid of the gators, you can go back north. No one's going to stop you. There are not roads keeping you from moving back.
And the real estate will be cheap when you get there because nobody wants to live there. Okay, that's fine.
So I just get a kick out of that.
I hear you. I agree. I totally agree. That's funny. It's funny stuff. But all right, BJ, look at that. We've talked for an hour and a half. No, an hour and a half, an hour and 5 minutes. Anyway, it's awesome. That's great stuff. Great stuff.
I'll get fired again for talking about my son.
What's that?
Hope we don't get fired again for talking about my son.
I don't think we've told any stories out of school here. I think that's pretty much good stuff. And besides, I mean, as we have said many times, your son has done such great things with his life and his business and all of that. He's got nothing to worry about. He's doing fine. He's doing
And
great.
like I said, and I will say that, and I will say that here on this podcast, and my wife knows it, and he knows it.
Right.
I have apologized to my son for moving to Florida when he was a small child, and, you know, his mother being in Indiana. And because I have felt guilty over the years, but he has told me on several occasions, it's okay. I'm okay. It's okay. And not to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there you go. So we absolve you, Dad. We absolve you of any guilt you might feel over bringing your son to Florida. You are hereby, it's like an Easter blessing. You are hereby blessed and absolved. And by the powers vested in me by the universe and all the angels therein, I absolve you.
Oh, I feel so much better now.
You should. There you go. All right, everybody. You have a great. Now, by the way, if you want to share any of your moving to Florida stories, we'd love to hear them because, I mean, everybody's got one. Let's face it. Everybody has their moving to Florida story. So, and if you're listening somewhere else, maybe you should just tell us about how you'd love to move to Florida.
And let me give you one more
Go ahead.
advice.
Go ahead.
To all you people that move to Florida.
Yes.
Do not feed the alligators. Do not feed the wolves. Do not feed the bobcats.
No.
Because once you feed them, they think of food and think of humans, and they are no longer afraid of humans. But if you do not feed the alligators,
correct,
and no one feeds the alligators, they're as afraid of you as you are of them.
Good advice. Good advice. Don't feed the critters. Any of them. Just don't. Feed yourself. Feed the people in the neighborhood. Do that sort of thing, but don't feed critters. All right, everybody. Have yourself a great critter-filled weekend. We'll talk to you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. But until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya!
The first step to reaching your full potential is having the courage to start. At Strayer University, we help students take action by making higher education more affordable with access to up to 10 no-cost gen ed courses. Because our goal is helping you work toward yours, so you can always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. No-cost gen ed provided by Strayer University affiliate Sophia Learning. Eligibility rules apply. Connect with us for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.